As of now, I think we are at the last phase of the uphill struggle. We started off with a very much disadvantage. We started off, i.e., before nomination, because this is traditionally ruling BN seat, and one of the two state seats in this parliament area, Sikong, has always been a staunch USNO before, now UMNO. And the neighboring area, Karamanting, was also a safe BN seat. So we started off very much at a disadvantage. But we could see that in the last few days of campaigning, the mood is picking up, the response is very positive for change, for a return to Sabah autonomy. I think there's a lot of resentment over so much grandiose announcements of huge projects and billions and billions of ringgit of money supposed to be approved for Sabah and Sandakan. But on the ground, people are not seeing that. Sandakan also has a high percentage of top leaders in government, both state and federal. But this has not been translated into anything of real benefit to the local people. So a lot of resentment on the ground, which in the history of Sabah, normally the tide turns, if there is strong resentment, the tide will turn after nomination. It happened in a few general elections before, which is 1976, and 1985, 1994, and each time the people will begin to shift after nomination. And this is consistent with our historical trends of frustrated people making a stand after nomination, and they have 10 days to complete the process for change. Well, UMNO has been here for 16 years. Sabah is very big, so is UMNO. And UMNO being so big, being so powerful, they're in control of both state and federal governments. They have all the national resources at their disposal, whether it's financial, economic, political, security. And yet, Sabah have become from a richer state 40 years ago to now the poorest state after 16 years of UMNO. Well, Sabah is the biggest state. Sabah is a big state, so is UMNO. So is the resources available to UMNO to develop Sabah. And we are talking now, not 1994 when UMNO first came in. We are talking now about 2010, 16 years of UMNO government. And I think people know that after 16 years we have gone from bad to worse. Part of the reason is our local leaders increasingly becoming reliant on Kuala Lumpur support. Because Kuala Lumpur calls Sabah the fixed deposit. You know about that? They call Sabah the fixed deposit. They are World Bank. And therefore we are supposed to be the most reliable. And it gets into the head of our leaders in Sabah that as long as they have Kuala Lumpur support, they will be able to stay in power. And this is a fundamental mindset that is a mistaken mindset on the part of our local leaders. At the same time, federal leaders, particularly UMNO, MCA and the others, who also think that because Sabah is their fixed deposit, they can do whatever they want. And if you go to the ground, you can hear frustration and resentment over the last number of years. But before March 08 tsunami in West Malaysia, people here are generally resigned to the fact that you can't beat UMNO. You've got to comply and try to change within the Barisan Nasional. But after March 08, I call it an opportunity for us to reset the Malaysia button. Reset, like a video machine, you reset it, start over again. Within Malaysia, still the Malaysia concept, we are loyal to the king and country, we are loyal to the constitution. But within this Malaysia constitution, we are going back to what have gone wrong in the last 47 years of Malaysia. We want to rectify that.
So you don't see yourself as an underdog, yeah, in this race?
Or underdog in terms of all the power and resources been flung around by Barisan Nasional. You drive around, you can see. In fact, all this huge number, tens of thousands of flags and posters by Barisan Nasional display their extravagance and arrogance. Yeah. You drive around, ordinary people who are now struggling to survive, and see the money invested on tens of thousands of flags all over the place, even beyond batu sapi. And this to me is a display of the extravagance and the arrogance. It doesn't work. I think it's working against them. The huge predominance of all these blue BN flags is working against them because people see this as prestigious, unnecessary expenditure, extravagance. Where did they get all these funds to do all this? you know, and it's a sign of arrogance. I think it's going to work against them. Well, they are close to 26,000 voters. I think the turnout will be 17,000 to maximum 18,000. Maximum 18,000. Anything beyond 18,000, I'll be very, very surprised.
80% turnout?
No. I think it's 70 plus or minus. 70 plus. Because in the last round, it was only 62. You cannot jump to more than 70%. You know? Because a lot of the voters are no more here. My worry is that the names that are still in the rolls might not belong to real people. Some of the names might have been put in there, but the person does not exist. And we are now getting reports of Kuala Lumpur issuing documents with the photograph of certain individuals, and they'll be going around to many polling stations to vote. Meaning one photo, a photo of a person, and then different names, say 10 different names, 10 documents, one photo, 10 different names, and you can vote in different polling stations. Most likely each time in a different polling station. Islanders, I'm not worried. I mean, as long as they are real people, real voters, I'm not worried. It is those fake voters.
Phantom voters.
Phantom voters, well, if you talk about phantom voters, meaning actual person who are holding some dubious document to vote, I'm not so worried about that. Because that one easier to catch. And these people are very suspicious, they're very jittery. We are going to have people at every polling station to look out for this kind of people. In a by-election, it's easier for us to monitor, and I think some of them are going to be jittery and nervous. It is those very much ordinary UMNO machinery people, who one person can hold anything like 5 to 10 pieces of, they call it like a receipt for an IC card, a receipt for a my card. But the photo is the same person. So you'll be walking in this station, Mr. A, walking in the next station, Mr. B, but same photo.
It's difficult to prove, so we
Right.
can't really go into it. Okay, so you'll be, maybe stepping up your surveillance to make sure to, there's no phantom voters.
So there are 12 polling stations. We have enough people to monitor. There's 1,500 postal works, consisting of police field force, Navy, and some municipal election officers. Of course, we will be stepping up monitoring, but we don't know to what extent the election officers on the ground on that day will truly abide by the law. For instance, somebody come in with we think it's a suspect case, suspicious. We should ask to see the IC. At the moment, we are not allowed to see the IC. They just announce Mr. A by the officer, and then you only mark out the name. You don't get to see the IC. So to what extent will this be truly transparent? We will know on the day. Well, I think the response for the last 3 days for Chinese is very clear-cut. Very clear-cut, very overwhelming for both urban and rural. As for the Bumi Putras, of course there are various villages, islanders, mainlanders, settlers in Sagulit, this is oil palm settlers. I think there's a lot of discourse going on now among this community. Of course, you have hardcore opposition, you have hardcore UMNO, but there's a lot of discourse going on now, and I find the mood is picking up that they want to see some change. For this group of Bumi Putras, I think a lot of frustration over broken promises. You say the word janji kosong, everybody will be responding. In other words, UMNO YBs, UMNO representative here, we've been going around promising all kind of things, not been fulfilled. They don't visit people in trouble. They don't visit welfare cases. And I think there's this huge discourse going on now among the Bumi Putra community. And I believe that in the mood is going for further swing towards the opposition.
Lastly, your relationship with the opposition. Have you met Anwar Ibrahim? He's now in town, right? Have you met Anwar?
No, not this trip. Not this particular by-election.
No doubt.
Well, everybody is saying other people are splitting each other's vote. So let's wait until the November 4th to see the actual votes. Then we can do an analysis. Our political ideology is a non-racial politics. Politics should not be based on race and religion. That's something very wrong with many parts of the country. In Sabah, the livelihood, the social fabric of working together, living together, of all races and religion has been very strong. We have families, we have 2 religions, 3 religions, there's no issue. The issues in Semenanjung over Allah, over Bumi-Putra rights and Chinese position, all this, here it's not felt. Because I think the social fabric here is very much united. So people laugh at Najib's One Malaysia. What talking about Malaysia? Here is already a long time ago. Before independence is One Malaysia. You know? So I think we want to see a more entrenched political culture of non-racial politics. Back to Sabah, we're looking at autonomous state within the Federation of Malaysia. With reference to the 1963 Malaysia Agreement. There are various types of autonomy. I can give you some examples. You got Hong Kong autonomy, you got Macau, you got Aceh, you got Mindanao. All these are, you got Xinjiang in China. These are all autonomous regions. Various countries have their own various autonomy.
So you think you'll be able to make a difference?
Yes. Because after 47 years now, and 45 years at the last general election, the tsunami of March 2008, finally, people in Sabah see that there is a chance to reset the button. In 1963, like Singapore, we were rushed into joining Malaysia. Okay? And we have lived with that for 77 years. You got out. Singapore got out. Brunei never joined. Okay? Sabah and Sarawak at that time joined. Singapore got out, Brunei didn't join. And we still live with the fact. Let's not go back into what happened in between such a long history, but we want to reset the button. Using 1963 Constitution as a reference point.
Many will tell you that this is pipe dream. I mean, it's already long. It's almost 50 years of you can never get out.
But we're not getting out. I said we are loyal to the king, we are loyal to the country, and we uphold the Constitution of Malaysia. But we are issuing the 1963 agreement, which is an international treaty. It was an international treaty signed in London by 5 parties. Some of the parties are still very much alive, you know, including Lee Kuan Yew. He was one of the signatories.
So you want to uphold the treaty? I mean, the treaty signed already.
Yes, but the letter and spirit of the agreement. And prior to that, there are various documents. I give you some examples. The Lord Corbett Commission report of the United Nations, the Malaysia Solidarity Consultative Report, the 20-point memorandum.
So in essence, you want an autonomy within
Malaysia. People ask me, what range of autonomy? You have autonomy, they have very autonomous, you know, or there are some which are only in name. So we use 1963 Malaysia Agreement as a reference point. No, I told Anwar in June 2008, and when I met Asmin, also in 2008 and 2009, and Jack Ibrahim, and Dr. Jeffrey Kitingan, I've told all these people, let's be friends, let's work together on common issues. Do not rush us into joining Pakatan. And not everybody says it's the right decision. Look at what is happening to PKR. I think they will take a bit of time to sort things out. The basic ideological differences within Pakatan, they will need time to iron that out. And we in Sabah don't want to make the mistake that was made many years ago when we are rushed into making decisions. So I said in Malay, kita boleh berkawan, tak semestinya berkahwin. We can be friends, doesn't mean we have to get married. Be Pakatan.